Broadcasting live from downtown Las Vegas, you're tuned in to Gorilla Cross Radio.
Yo, you tuned in to Gorilla Cross Radio.
Yo, what's going on? Jeremy Long, welcome to Levels, where we have fun talking about other people getting punched in the face repeatedly until their lips are gone. Sorry, Overeem, is it too soon? We have a hell of a show lined up today. Of course, the Sportsnista, Cassandra Cousineau, joins us. Hello.
Hey.
What's going on, CC?
Everything. It's Thursday, Friday Eve. Happy.
Thursday, Friday Eve here in beautiful downtown Las Vegas. And we are joined by two of my favorite people in the entire world. And that is not hype. That is not smoke.
I'm telling your mama, too.
You better. Because we are joined by
Sportsnista Cassandra, live here in beautiful Las Vegas.
Man, it is quite the evening. You guys have been running around all day. When I say you guys, all three of you have been running around all day.
Yep.
Super friends.
Everyone's got
taking a shower.
Everyone's got the braids on, the bracelets on. Even Quan has one on. I do not, because I did not go today. But you know what? It's UFC Media Day, and right now I believe they're getting ready for Quintet. It's happening at Red Rock Casino. So a lot of stuff going on in preparation for Saturday night. UFC 245 goes down, and we are going to get to UFC 245 in just a little bit. But first, let's talk some stuff that's been happening. Let's lead off with some Bob Arum news.
Yeah, some breaking news out of Bob Arum. So, YouTuber and sports journalist Kukin Cassius, and you can look him up on Twitter, broke the story that it has Bob Arum saying that Bob has inside information that says Errol Spence will not be in the ring, not only for 2020, not for 2021, nor will he be available for the foreseeable future. So really terrible news, because that means that Errol is not right. And you would expect that. He was thrown from a car. He also will have some subsequent legal issues as a result of that. So Stop calling for Spence Crawford, because it ain't happening.
It ain't happening anytime soon. And Bob Arum just changed his mind, apparently, when it comes to Sean Porter as well.
Yeah.
He was saying that Porter did not deserve anything, and it was kind of a low-level fighter, and then kind of changed his tune now that Errol Spence is
some new information.
gonna be out for a little bit.
Yeah, it's tripping.
Yeah, he's we don't know what the hell's Bob. Bob, what are you talking about?
Well, listen, Bob knows what he's talking about. He got some information. Is what had happened was.
What had happened was. All right, let's look at the Ruiz-Joshua aftermath real quick. Who had the most embarrassing loss there, CC? Was it Andy or was it Anthony when he got knocked out?
I actually think that it was Joshua, because Andy Ruiz was not expected to perform. He was this husky guy. I'm not going to fat shame him, but he's husky and didn't look like the typical boxer, and Joshua had all of the belts. And so I think that's a harder loss for him. With Andy, no one expected him to be there in the first place. 300 pounds is 300 pounds, so, man.
Yeah, man. You know what? But before I go in on my minute, what did you guys think about the heavyweight fight, Ruiz and Joshua? Helen?
I mean, I think that was what people were expecting to happen in the first fight.
Right.
I was very disappointed with Andy Ruiz, not only of him making the excuses he was making afterwards, but just coming in there out of shape, partying. The mindset wasn't right, clearly. And I was just a bit disappointed to see the fight play out the way it did.
Schmo, what did you see looking at these guys? And I know you spent some time with Deontay Wilder, shaking hands, kissing babies, stuff like that. But with Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz, what did you think overall?
The first thing the Schmo wants to acknowledge is we got a second fight because Andy Ruiz shocked the world. He got the opportunity to better his family. He showed up the first time. Obviously, he's overweight. He made excuses. Disappointing performance, what people expected the first time around, but at least he got the opportunity to do it a second time. So before everybody just nags on this guy, acknowledge the fact no one expected to be there in the first place. Now, with that said, it was definitely not a showing you would think the reigning heavyweight champion of the world, the guy with the most belts, would go out there and do. Didn't expect that to happen. How many rounds, Jeremy, did you even have Andrew Ruiz winning?
All of 2, I think.
About 2.
Yeah.
The Schmo hasn't heard anyone say he's won more than 2 rounds that fight.
I had one.
You got one.
I had one.
You guys had one.
Eighth.
Yeah.
Well, hey, no knockouts for this one. And Joshua established the jab, played outside in. The Schmo thinks, could that style survive if they ever danced, him and Deontay Wilder?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no. I said
No, man.
I was
Deontay's gonna
texted
cut
there.
that ring off, and that fool's not gonna be on his bike like that.
No. I sent a text to CC and a couple other people. I was like, Deontay, if Joshua fights like that, I think Deontay is gonna fold him in half.
Yeah.
He's gonna fold him in half like he did Ortiz. And I know I don't want to bash Andy Ruiz because number one, he was never supposed to have the shot. He made the most of it. He became the heavyweight champ. When you become the heavyweight champ and you get to that level, and then you just kind of blow the opportunity.
Terrible.
That to me that separates you from being a good story to something of it just kind of knocks it down a few pegs.
Yeah.
A great fight, good for him, but then just, he even said I ate everything and I didn't train and blah. Come on, bums do that, man. That's what you
Come
find
on,
at Golden
man.
Gloves gyms and stuff like that, man. Not heavyweight champions of the world.
But I think
You know,
before Andy
to me, it's
steps foot-
disappointing. It's really disappointing more than
It
anything.
hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
I was rooting for you,
So
man.
many people wanted that feel good story and for him to
Yeah.
be legit, and it turns out maybe he's just Buster Douglas.
No, I think he's legit. I also think before Andy steps foot into another gym, he needs to hire the best sports psychologist in the business. Get his mind right. Figure out.
Get your mind right.
Yeah, get your mind right. What is your impediment and what do you want to do next?
It was right going into that first fight, obviously.
You would think, or he had the mindset of I'm just gonna go in here. No one expects me to
Yeah.
compete anyway. I'm gonna just throw hands, and he threw hands and caught him.
And let's be real, he's got the talent. How many
Yeah.
guys have knocked out Andy Ruiz?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
No.
Yeah.
True that.
exactly.
Joseph Parker had a controversial win over
Right.
him.
Yeah,
A lot of people thought that Andy actually won that fight,
Mm-hmm.
but he's got fast hands. He's got
he's
fluid
got fat
hands.
stands. He just for the rematch, he just looked lethargic.
Yeah.
He couldn't figure out how to box.
He
And I
wanted to
get that.
fight.
I know but he wanted to fight at the last 10
Yeah,
seconds.
I
Like,
agree.
The last 10
I
seconds,
thought-
like meet me in the middle of the ring. No,
No.
clowns do that, bro. No, this ain't clown college.
Joshua kind of like smirked. a little
He
bit,
smirked and he was like, I'm not doing that.
Nah, homie.
I got this. I got my belts back, So anyway, just left a bad taste in my mouth. Speaking of, well, bad segue here, but Overeem. Let's talk about the lip that formerly was Alistair Overeem's. He's winning a fight handedly for 4 rounds and 4.5 minutes and then he gets knocked out, and now he needs like a new lip there.
A new
Uh,
face, man. His
what-
face is gone.
Did anyone catch this main event? Did anyone watch this main event all the
Yeah.
way through?
Were you guys
We were there.
We were there.
You guys were
Yeah.
there.
We saw it live.
Last, 4 seconds, right?
Last 4 seconds was winning the entire fight. He got caught. And man, that was brutal. Makes Robbie Lawler's
Yeah.
look halfway decent compared to that.
I am so glad you brought that up because I actually have the pictures here.
Oh, no.
Let's first show Overeem's lip here. Let's get a good look at. Oh yeah, look at that
Why
beautiful.
am I looking at? No.
Yeah, look at that beautiful. Wow,
Absolutely not.
that is brutal. That is a brutal lip. But here's a good picture I found of Mr. Lawler's lip, and then you tell me which one was worse. Hey, let's see Robbie here. Yeah, they're both pretty gnarly, man.
Nah, man. Ain't gonna be able to do it.
No, I don't. Well, which one do you think is really worse? Cece?
I'm going to guess that it was over.
You didn't look?
I'm
Oh,
not
my
looking
gosh.
again. I saw
Oh,
it the
my
first
gosh.
time. I'm going to guess over.
Weak sauce.
What was it like in the arena? Like right after this had happened, where people just like
Well, here's the thing.
flabbergasted?
Because Overeem was controlling the entire fight and winning, I mean, according to all the scorecards, people started leaving.
So many people
They
were
were- yeah.
exiting the building.
Really?
It was crazy.
Yeah.
By the third round,
my
people were just
gosh.
exiting the building.
They were leaving as if, it was like a basketball game and,
Mhm.
It's a
Go
blowout.
Yeah.
get my car out.
The electricity in the building during that entire fight night was during the Ben Rothwell Stefan Struve fight with the nut shots.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, don't fight, hey, don't fight, don't. That's
it was
where the noise
crazy.
was.
That is-
People love nut shots. And that's crazy that people love nut shots
People
that
ain't
much.
right.
No, but I mean, this is
That has just been,
This is
you know,
MMA.
when you like, like with Tyson, when he bit Evander's ear off, they were looking for the ear
Yeah.
to put back. Like there was nothing. Like you
Oh,
couldn't.
They
put
weren't
the lip
looking
back.
for no lip.
But to answer your original question, Overeem's is worse. You see that thing hanging right there?
What
It's like,
was that?
that's the lip.
That's the
And you could even see
guts.
inside the tooth. You could see the teeth.
ugh.
I mean, everyone's like, this guy's smiling, smiling. To an extent, he's smiling, but it really looks like he's smiling because he's missing
Yeah.
part of that
You
lip.
got
He
beat
has
to
no
the white
choice.
meat, man. That's terrible. Like just beat.
Well,
all
Rosenstruck
of
has
it.
a second career coming up as a face surgeon. or
Man, who wants him?
yeah.
Who wants
Well,
that guy
he
next?
wants Francis Ngannou.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
that is,
that'd be the only guy that you could see. But still, 4
How
seconds
scary is the
left.
punching power on these
It's
guys that are
Frightening.
heavyweights? I mean, there you go. One punch changes everything.
That should
but-
call the
Don't
law.
blink.
Wow. yeah. Okay. Let's move on from that. That's
Woo,
grossing me out.
child.
Man. So, okay. Rosenstruck does what Francis Ngannou next. What do you think, CC? I mean,
Yeah.
do we need that?
Yes.
Does everyone want that?
We want
You wouldn't
that.
look at the picture, but
We
you want that fight?
no, you mean I wouldn't look at it again? I've seen the picture. I won't see it no more. But yeah, yes, please. I want that one.
Okay. What do you guys think? Ngannou
Absolutely.
at Rosenstruck?
Love to see it. Monkey wrench in the equation. Maybe an Alexander Volkov.
Alexander Volkov, always fun. Always fun to see these guys, man. A heavyweight, as the heavyweights move, so do boxing, so does mixed martial arts. So
big
it's a good time in mixed martial arts to have these big guys in there doing their thing, even if it leads to some disgusting outcomes. So let's talk a little bit. That's kind of what's going on right now. And of course, UFC 245, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Let's turn our attention here to our guest. And the one thing that comes across of you, Schmo, you've kind of blown up over this last year, man. And we were talking before the show, and it's something that you always knew you were going to do. And because the Schmo knows, right? Mystic, are we calling him Mystic Schmo now? You know what? I'm going to
Schmo?
coin it Mystic Schmo.
Schmo?
Like Mystic Mac, but Mystic Schmo. He's calling the fights now. I gave you I want a nickel every time you
It's
use it. No.
the Mystic Schmo.
The Mystic Schmo. But what has this year been like for you? I mean, just the highs you've been to, and Helen kind of there along, you guys working together and everything. In this social media age, how surreal is this that you're now that guy and that girl that are doing all these big things and are in mixed martial arts as far as journalism is concerned?
I'll let him.
Ladies first.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible, to first off, I have to say when the year started, it was cool to meet someone, and I think he agrees that works just as hard, if not, I mean, I would say, I know I work hard, but he works a bit harder. I will give you that.
Nah, equal playing field here.
Yeah, I think it's equal. I seen it.
But it's cool because I've seen how things have been back in January, and I know things have been a lot different since before we met as well, but to see from January and then all of a sudden the press conference in April that everyone talks about, it's been a crazy ride, a crazy journey, but no one deserves it more, and I'm happy that this is just the beginning. So
They say the cliche of the roller coaster, but really there's so many highs and lows to this journey. The work ethic, the passion, always been there. I just need an opportunity for everybody to see the Schmo on a bigger stage. And so when the bigger stage came, we planned for it accordingly. We had a great question. Been denied countless times to get a one-on-one interview with Uncle Dana White prior to that big Schmoment. We needed that to happen. He didn't know who the Schmo was, and he learned who the Schmo was. And the work ethic, the nose to the grindstone, it's always been there. You know, the Schmo's been very seasoned in this grueling sports industry, as you all can attest to, too. There are so many highs and lows. There are so many false promises. There's so many times where you think that you're going to be somewhere and you're not. You fall back to earth. You got to be even-keeled. You got to be level-headed, and you got to be humbled. Maybe not once, maybe not twice, maybe countless times. You'll have a lot of sleepless nights. But the most important thing is to keep your eyes on the prize. The Schmo was lucky. It's a great year. Got together with Helen Sports over here. She's been an amazing sidekick, someone who's been willing to do all the dirty work, just like the Schmo, go out to all these different events, meet and network, go with coaches, go to the gyms, travel to the smaller fight cards, to the bigger fight cards, but most importantly, be true to yourself. And I think the biggest thing I've learned throughout this process is it's all about the fans. You got to give the fans what they want.
Right.
And people want to see the personalities of their favorite athletes. And the Schmo, it's his duty and obligation to bring that out of people. So it's always entertaining. And at the end of the day, I'm just waking up every day doing what the Schmo loves, talking sports and entertaining people.
So, Helen, my question for you is, what do you think the fans really want to see? And why is it important for digital journalists to be out there kind of doing it the way that you are, grinding and without a major network behind you saying, here's $400,000 to go travel the world and find interviews this year?
Well, that's a great question. And I think, well, Jeremy knows because I've known Jeremy for years and we've covered MMA and boxing for years now. While the Schmo was covering more NFL, NBA and stuff. So what I've noticed, especially this year is, and especially since the Schmo's been around, is they do want to see, you know, the fighters' personalities. They do want to see those kind of different, unique questions. And I think that's why not only do the fans respond well to the Schmo, but even the fighters, like they all love him. So that kind of made me realize, like, wow, they do want to see people's personalities and done in a fun, but not only professional, but knowledgeable way, which
are NBA and NFL fans different in terms of how they want to consume that kind of content as opposed to fighters, individuals who are interested in combat sports?
It's a little bit different with the NFL and the NBA because you have publicists from the teams kind of controlling the narrative. It's a very controlled situation. And in the fight game, in both boxing and MMA, as a fighter, you're only as good as your next fight, contract-wise, endorsements-wise. So you need to get as much out of people as possible. Henry Cejudo didn't become marketable until he was Triple C, King of Cringe. Kobe Covington until Donald Trump, pro-politics, America first. That sells. That gets people's blood to boils. You're seeing the personalities. Uriah Faber said this to the Schmo 2 days ago, and it sticks out because he's 100%. If you're not first, be different. The Schmo's not going to be first. The job isn't to break news necessarily, just to utilize the whole traditional Twitter world, which is where a lot of the mainstream digital media is on the sports side. When people zig, the Schmo zags. A lot of preparation goes into this, studying the trends of digital media, seeing where the kids are looking, doing focus groups with the 18 to 24-year-olds, doing focus groups with the 12 to 17-year-olds, seeing where that next generation is going to be keeping their attention to. So you got to do something that's going to separate you from the wolf pack. And the Schmo and Helen are willing to do it.
Very interesting you brought that up. I mean, because you're saying something that is kind of unheard of in journalism and as far as coverage is concerned about focus groups at this level. You know, I know big corporations do it for the things that they release, but how, you know, the importance of knowing that audience and walking that line and, like you say, staying at the forefront of that. I mean, I guess the question and the thought is, you know, how do you keep that going at the same time trying to maintain and one up yourself, with these younger and younger kids. I mean, what is the next level? Is it Twitch? Is it TikTok? Is it
these kids are fickle.
Yeah, they're fickle, and once they find my old ass on a program, they're like, "Oh no,
Oh, no, TikTok,
he's
man.
got a beard. Can't let him. He's probably got a white van too. I got to go to a different app." It's weird. I said that. So I mean, what are you guys seeing at the forefront there? I mean, is it TikTok? Is it Twitch? Is it something totally different?
Well, to be honest, I'll let him answer this because he is the expert at it. I'm still kind of learning. To
Okay,
be honest.
we got to learn her. But what do you see, Schmo?
I think the future is TikTok for these young kids. This music, even the NBA players are getting involved. The Schmo's just new to it. We just joined it. We're still figuring it out. I'm
Right.
like, how is this different than Instagram?
Right.
But it's very interesting because it's taking a lot of the elements that made the Schmo successful on Instagram in the very beginning, adding fun music, getting people to do certain moves, utilizing the video component, and that's what TikTok's doing, adding sound effects, different things, trends. It's about an engagement where people can do battles against each other with popular music. They can comment and do unique
There's
different
a
things.
dance off.
There's dancing. I think dancing is a big component of TikTok. But
on.
TikTok in the next couple of years is just blowing up, and the Schmo is not even at the forefront. But we're just trying to. We're not a laggard here, but we're just trying to be on the train still somewhat early.
That's
So,
amazing.
Schmo, let's break some news here. There was, speaking of competition, you laid out a very big wager against another well-known combat journalist. Can you tell us what's going on with Ariel Helwani?
No problem. We can break some news here today as well. So, the Schmo, ever since we blew up on YouTube specifically, every single time we've been doing a video, there's always been people saying, we want to see the Schmo versus Ariel Helwani and a 165-pound charity grappling match, consistently nonstop. And if the Schmo was not a reporter to the people, we'd ignore that. But we can't ignore it. We're all humans. We'll put our pants on one leg at a time.
Give the people what
Give
they
the
want.
people what they want. So Ariel Helwani is the king of controversy in the terms of what he calls out for fighters. He's not afraid to muddy the lines and, stir the pot a little bit. Hey, if we're going to sit here as our profession and talk about it, why not be engaged with it as well? The Schmo doesn't have ESPN backing us with money and stuff like that. We have to go out and get our own brands and sponsors so we can travel and cover this stuff. Well, the Schmo ponied up $25,000, thought it would be a great idea to finally call him. It's the holiday season. Give it for gifting. He's the only dance partner out there that can go out there and raise the equal amount of money, maybe surpass it. We do it, charity grappling match. It's for charity. It's for grappling. We're not looking to knock each other out or damage the nose. We're not
Are
going to
you
damage
sure?
the nose. Yes,
All right.
come on. We're not looking to damage
Right.
the nose. We respect every one of our colleagues
No
here.
shots in the huevos.
No, we're just there to compete and to win. Because if the Schmo, if Ariel, if the Sportsnista, if we're going to sit there and talk about it,
Let's
we
be
might
about
as
it.
well engage about it. It'd be about
do
it.
it.
Exactly. So we did that. No response, crickets. We would have respected him to just, acknowledge it. Just say no. Don't pester it. Here, so on and so forth. But look, even the Schmo 2 days ago, bringing up Uriah Faber, asked him what his advice is. Well, Ariel Helwani was a good basketball player. The Schmo will challenge him in basketball first, and then we could do the grappling. And then if we need a tiebreaker, we could do some trivia. And guess what? If his favorite sport is really basketball, the Schmo can do the trivia in basketball if it's not MMA. Whatever it is.
Trivia, some Parcheesi.
Yes.
Schmo
Maybe
is
checkers.
about that life.
So breaking news is earlier today, Ariel Helwani approached the Schmo.
Oh.
Let's
Ooh.
just say
Ooh.
he doesn't want any smoke for that grappling match. And he was upset that the Schmo had the cojones to do what we did in the first place.
What? He was upset.
What?
he was
He
upset.
stepped
Yeah.
to you.
He
Did he
was-
step to you, or did he have his people around
Oh,
you?
he
or
no,
stepped
well,
to you?
he did it solo, and he's like, "This is disrespectful." I didn't expect this. We're all colleagues, in journalism. Why'd you do it? I thought I was trying to help you. You seek advice and all that. And I just told him exactly like what it is. We're here to give the people what you want. You could have acknowledged it, nip it in the butt. We don't have to deal with it again. Accept it or deny it, but at least acknowledge it.
Did you send him any kind of correspondence? Like, was there like a paper airplane? Did you send an email, or he was just hearing about it? Did he ever hear about the challenge from you?
Oh, he heard it from all the
All the
fans, and they do it all the time. The comments on his show. What's going to really irk him is when, because the Schmo hasn't pressed it, but when the fighters start bringing it up to him on his show,
child.
how do you think he's going to feel about that?
Yeah, $25,000 for charity.
For charity.
I mean, charity.
And
It's
he
not
can
like
make weights.
you're not
Right.
looking to actually fight the guy in a pro style fight.
Yeah,
I mean,
No,
and
it's
he's
a
not
charity
looking to
match.
make money.
I'm
from
not
it.
looking to
It's
make a
just
dime.
helping kids holiday season, a fun, creative way to get kids, engaged.
And listen, the Schmo doesn't need Ariel Hawani to get more views and stuff like that. We're gonna climb
Respect.
every day. The Schmo must go on.
Yeah.
We're gonna grow one day or another. We're gonna climb. We don't need that. No, we didn't need him in the first place. We don't need him now. We just want to do something good for charity, and this is the best thing for it.
Maybe he's having some trouble making weight. Could he be on the Andy Ruiz
We
plan, or-
suggested if he couldn't do
what's
165, the Schmo would do 185. And Frank, as long as he could show up under 200, we'll take it.
For
Man,
charity,
for
man.
charity.
Come
Come on. What
on.
camera am I at? Come on. Where am I? This one right here? Ariel. I mean, you don't want the schmuck, or you want these poor little kids not to have a good Christmas. Is that what it's about? It's about the kids. That's what it's about.
I don't see. I maybe I'm wrong about Ariel. I don't know him personally. I don't have a dog in the fight. But I
I
mean,
do.
something with charity. A grappling match, a couple
Put
of
on
minutes,
a unitard.
a couple
man.
of minutes in a singlet and a unitard. Come on, I mean, there's no problem there. I mean, we had a celebrity boxing match last year downtown. Weren't you involved with that? Or Amber Dixon? I know
Amber.
those local
Yeah,
sports
Amber.
personality. She
Yeah.
boxed for
Yeah.
sports for charity and everything else. It happens all the time. I
Yeah,
wonder what the big deal
exactly.
is.
Mm-mm.
I wonder what the big deal. But it's not going to happen, like you said. I don't think it's going to happen until fighters start bringing it up to Ariel. So if you're a fan of the Schmo and you like his interviews, you got to start bringing it up to Helwani.
Bring it up to
$25,000
Yeah.
for charity, bro. Come on.
Keep pushing.
Keep
And
pushing.
you would even do thumb war, right?
Thumb war. Basketball. Game 211. 2s and 1s.
Trivia.
Take it. And then trivia.
Tic-tac-toe.
Oh, no.
Something.
Chess.
Oh, no.
You know, Connect Four. Some
about the dozens?
cornhole toss.
I'll do the desert.
We'll do cornhole. Yeah, cornhole.
Cornhole.
That's
a
a
different one.
daggone shame.
That's a different one. that's on
two-
Fremont Street.
245. Who's at the top of the card?
UFC 245. Usman
Because
Covington.
you all are about to, you got to skip pretty soon. You're going to head over to I keep calling it the Royal Rumble. but
Quintet.
it's-
Quintet Ultra.
What's
Quintet
going on
Ultra.
over there at the Quintet Ultra today?
They have all the teams, so Team Pride, Team WEC, Team Strikeforce, Team UFC. So it's kind of like a little throwback, it's kind of cool.
Right.
And being like an old school fan, I mean, it's cool to see like the Sakurabas, like a lot of the legends, be able
Got
to
his
come
jacket
down
today.
and
Sakuraba is
grapple.
50 years old, but I wouldn't let that
Yeah.
man.
Dana gave
Trying to
him a
grapple
jacket
me.
today, right?
They did,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Hall
awesome,
of
man.
Famer.
Real quick, man. We're gonna wrap it up here in the next 10 minutes. Let's look at this UFC 245 card real quick. Get your thoughts on the main card here. The return once again of Uriah Faber, living legend. How impressive is this guy coming back after a hiatus and then getting work done?
And still
in the
finishing,
cage.
guys.
Yeah, still finishing, guys. What do you think, CC? You think he's got a young man, Peter Yan there, Petra.
Yeah, how do you
Peter Yan.
pronounce it? Schmo clarified with him
Future.
today.
Future Yon.
Yeah, I mean, Uriah's taking care of himself.
Yeah.
He's stayed in good shape, and his skills have always been elite. So just happened guys were catching up to him after a while. But it's fun to hear him. I already said this on the show that he's got the best walkout of anybody that I've ever heard. I love that
California
California
love.
love. When that hits the arena, is something special. So I like to see it.
And then another legend, Jose Aldo.
You talked to
It
him
was
today,
kinda in
right?
the
I saw you
twilight.
talking to him
Slim.
today.
Very,
He's
very slim.
looking, yeah,
Yeah.
little,
Looking hungry.
little bit too
You know,
slim.
those leg kicks from Marlon Moraes are not going to
Yeah.
feel too good on those skinny legs of Jose Aldo after that
Yeah.
weight cut.
Marias is
think
a
he's doing
buzzsaw,
that?
man. He is a
I
buzzsaw
mean, he
right
busted up Cejudo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you think he's still doing this to himself?
now. Jose?
Jose, yeah.
Oh,
Just
man.
can't let it go.
The love of competition.
There
When
you go.
train for so many years at the UFC featherweight division, a lot of people look to this guy as the GOAT of that division. Max Holloway might have something to say about that when it's all said and done. But this guy has been doing it for so long. They're both Brazilians here. I mean, this is going to be an exciting thing to watch. But at the end of the day, the Schmo thinks Magic Marlin, is going to get the job done.
Magic Marlin? What do you think, Helen?
Yeah, I agree.
Marlin? Oh, I did get your pick for Uriah. What do you guys think? Uriah
I'm
or
taking
Peter?
Uriah, and I'm also taking Marlon. I think Marlon's going to finish him.
Man,
No
But-
pick for the Uriah.
no pick? No
Yeah,
pick Uriah?
skip it.
Too close to the source?
Yeah.
The Schmo, when we look at Peter Yan, right?
Yeah.
This guy is strong like bull. This guy is not like Ricky Simone, okay?
Right.
Like Ricky Simone is going to be a great fighter. When it's all, he's young.
Right.
He's young. He's getting inside the octagon with one of his heroes, with a legend in Uriah. When Peter Yan steps into the octagon, he's not looking at Uriah Faber the same way. I'll tell you that much.
He's got a lot of consonants in his name, Peter. You know?
Peter. Yeah,
Peter.
Peter.
Like, you should be afraid of a guy that got that many consonants in his
How many letters you got in your name?
I got a lot, but I got a lot of more vowels than Peter.
There you go.
Just saying.
Oh man, I bet with my heart, and that's why I don't actually put real money down anywhere. So I'm going with Faber
I'll
just
play
because.
with Schmo's money. Shit.
But Jose Aldo, man, one of my heroes, and he is definitely on the downside of his career. I hope he just comes out of all this unscathed as far as long term. Let's look at the 3 championship fights here. Amanda Nunes, Jermaine Durandamy, the Iron Lady. Can or will, I know the UFC is putting the thread out there now, Amanda Nunes is the greatest of all time. Does she earn that decidedly with a victory over Jermaine Durandamy?
I think she's actually already earned it. I mean,
Yeah.
this is just a little bit more shine on the belt for Amanda. We've never seen a female fighter as complete as Amanda Nunes is. And you know what I love about her is that she's got this big, effervescent personality, and she's just real. She's not playing a character. She is going to kick your butt, but she doesn't put on gimmicks in order to get people to believe her. But I have a question actually for the two of you. That UFC is essentially owned by Endeavor, right? They represent artists. Why is it that Amanda Nunes doesn't have more of a presence in terms of sponsorship opportunities? How come she's not riding in the pace car in the Indianapolis 500? How come she's not at the opening of movies and things like that? She is the best female fighter of all time.
Before we answer that, though, can we make an argument for Clarissa Shields? I agree that Nunes is the greatest MMA athlete
Right.
of all time, but Clarissa
Correct.
Shields is a multi-time Olympic gold champion and a multi-division boxing champion.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You got to put her in the conversation for greatest female athlete
Yep.
or champion or whatever you want to
At
call
least
it.
in combat sports.
I
least
would
in
put,
combat,
the greatest fighter of all time. Those two there should be a conversation, and Clarissa would be in that conversation. But in terms of MMA, I don't think
It's all Amanda.
there's
It's
no
all-
one,
no
no one
one.
even close to
I-
Amanda.
and in terms to
Yeah.
answer your question there, going back to personality, is her personality as marketable as other fighters to do
Yeah.
that for? But
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, look at Ronda Rousey. But did her marketing really take off though till after she left the UFC?
No, I think so. There was always the talk about the wrestling and Ronda. So I think she's had that opportunity. And she always had the movie opportunity. Beautiful girl. People were waiting for that to happen for her. I think Amanda definitely has a personality. Definitely, why not tap the Hispanic market for her? For certain, she does. Her English is getting better. That's kind of an impediment, but she's a fun girl.
Hey, she did the
And
swimsuit edition.
She did the body
Or
edition
the body shoot, that's-
for ESPN, and she's got this really fun relationship. Her social media is a lot of fun to follow. There's got to be a place for someone as accomplished as her in the advertising and marketing plan for a company like Endeavor.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think number one, it's a language barrier.
Yeah.
Number two, here's what I'm seeing overall. I mean, I work in marketing and advertising every day. The number one thing with mixed martial artists right now is that they're still trying to figure out how to fit these men and women into these different things. Because with football players, you have them hold a football. You know what I'm saying? They hold a football, I'm so and so, and they throw the ball and whatever. And you see those commercials all day. I hit a ball, I dunk a ball, that's what I do. MMA, it's a little bit different. Now, I think Van Houston did a good spot with Stephen Thompson and a few of the guys. They were, testing the stretchiness of pants, so they were kind of in this faux fight or whatever. But you can't actually show another guy getting kicked in the face. You know what I'm saying? The way that these guys actually do it. And there's only so many companies that are going to be willing to market in that direction.
Like
you know
Rockhold was able to to find a way. He's
well, he might be the most
boy,
beautiful
and,
man of all time.
I mean, he ain't.
Him and Brad Pitt may be one A, one B. I mean, he's a pretty man.
He's definitely pretty.
But if you don't have those movie star good looks,
all right, those traditional,
what they're looking for, those traditional looks,
like Clarissa,
it makes it a little bit harder unless you make yourself a personality, unless you make opportunities for yourself.
Arse out of yourself.
Well, just kind of talking
guys,
about how Helen and Schmo here have blown up their social medias. This is the same thing, right?
Yeah.
They look at how many followers do you have?
Yeah.
How many, people who subscribe to your YouTube channel? What else are you doing? Are you on Twitch? What market are you trying to reach to? If I'm a company and I'm trying to sell to a 17-year-old, well, I'm not advertising on Facebook. I don't care how many followers you have because the 17-year-olds aren't on Facebook.
They're playing Minecraft or something.
Or if you're advertising to me, I don't care about your TikTok followers. I don't even know what it is. I'm old. Get off my lawn. You know what I'm saying? So they're still trying to figure out, even though MMA has been around for decades now and we've grown up in it, they're still trying to figure that out.
They're trying to figure it out. And
it's going to remain. It's going to remain, and women are
It's different to market women who are athletic, not just women who beat you up.
The WNBA. How come more of those ladies aren't? And then you have a certain segment of it comes down to women of color. Mm-hmm. And women of color are just now having that moment where they're emerging from the shadow and taking their place.
It's a melanated moment now, for movement rather, for certain.
I think we're going to see more of it. I think we're going to see more of it, but it's still in that place right there where they're kind of going, what do you like? How can we market you? Because ultimately marketing is how can we make money off of you. So there you go. And will Amanda Nunes be around to get that payoff like Ronda Rousey got her payoff? Mm-hmm. I hope she does. I really hope she does.
She told me today she may fight till 40. Who knows?
The way she's going, they're going to
who
have to create another
her,
division.
Who gonna check her?
And before we let you guys go, real quick, Max Holloway and Mr. Alexander Volkanovski there. What do you think? Is it still the blessed era, or are we going to see a title change hands? Schmo?
Tough one right here. Because Volkanovski been waiting to see this guy fight Max. Right. And if there's going to be a guy to dethrone Max at the heap of this division right now, it would be Volkanovski. Still going to go with the Blessed Express, though. The height, the length, the experience. Second home for him in Las Vegas. Loves fighting here.
Right. This
is the spot to be. Now, if this fight was going to have happened a few months back over in Melbourne, Australia, might be a different answer from the Schmo. But we're going to go with Blessed Holloway because of those reasons.
Helen?
Gonna give the slight edge to Volkanovski, and coming down from, slight edge, emphasize on that. Coming down from, how much did he weigh?
214 pounds.
I mean, you got to think he has a lot of power, right?
Right.
And the longer reach, the height, but I could see, maybe him looking for some uppercuts, some holds. I mean, being the shorter fighter, right? Or, like, I'm just thinking height-wise, a DC, a Stipe in their first fight,
Right.
just kind of getting inside.
Right. I like it.
214. He's like 5'8".
5'6".
Yeah, 5'6".
Yeah.
That's a tank.
So what does that weight cut do?
Ooh, child.
How much of that power does he retain with that weight cut all the way down to freaking featherweight? What do you think, CC?
I can't call it.
You
It's
can't
too
call
close.
it.
It's-
You staying
I
away
can't-
from this one too?
I'm saying no. There's no.
You're gonna go with Reem's busted lip. That's
no,
what you're going with.
Yes, always, always Reem's busted lip. I don't know. I just think that Max for me is one of my personal favorite fighters, and I don't like calling fights,
There you go.
calling winners for.
You don't like to bet with emotion like I do,
I
man.
can't bet with emotion.
And finally, that main event, that hotly contested main event. It could be two more different guys than Usman and Covington. Real quick, going around the circle. CC, what do you think? Is that another one? You backing off of this one too?
No, I'm hoping that baby Jesus, Tom Brady.
So Brady's gonna walk in and hit somebody with a chair.
Please,
Okay.
and I need Usman to win the fight. I need Usman to win the fight.
On a personal level.
On a personal level, but listen, Kobe can fight.
He can.
Kobe can fight.
He wouldn't be there.
He can wrestle. He's strong. He's got a ridiculous amount of stamina, and he's ready for this fight. So it's not going to be a walk in the park, but I do want Usman to win. I said want. I'm not saying who is going to win the fight.
Okay.
I said I want Usman.
All right. Political.
I think I could see it 51-49 going either way, which is kind of hard. So I'm not really going to pick, but I think stylistically, obviously very similar. They have a lot of history. And back, in the wrestling days, I think it's interesting that the guy who beat Usman, Colby beat him. The guy who beat Colby, Usman beat him. So it's going to be a good fight. And I'm actually very excited for that fight, even though I know there's going to be a lot of wrestling.
It's got to be, if you like wrestling, you're probably at Quintet right now. But Schmo,
Outside of Habib versus Tony Ferguson, this matchup the Schmo's been waiting for all year long. What Helen said, both of these guys have so much history and similarities where they cross paths. The guy that Kobe beat, Usman lost to. The guy that Usman beat, Kobe lost to. Both 15-1. Incredible, their similarities. We're going to find out who's going to win this fight the second they go in the clinch, because the one who wins that clinch battle is going to set the tone for the evening. And we can't know that until they dance.
I
Let's get
love
it
it.
done.
I am so jacked for this card. And the
Yeah.
prelims and early prelims are stacked as well, but don't have time to get into that. So, guys, thank you so much for taking time out. I know it's a super busy week with the media day and everything. We appreciate you coming on. If they want to find it, you guys on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, how do they locate the most viral people that are on Instagram
Right,
and
if you
Twitter
can't
right
find
now?
these two, you ain't trying.
At Helen Yee Sports.
At the Schmo 312.
What's the 312?
Chicago area code.
Oh, there you go. There.
Schmo's bread and butter.
Like
That's where we're
Goose Island.
from.
Goose Island.
Chi-town.
I like it. It's CC. Thank you so much. I know you've been up since
Hey.
4 in the morning.
Yeah, I know. Just how we do.
All right. That's how we do. Well, for Quant 59, I'm Jeremy Long. This has been Levels. We'll catch you next week where it's Festivus. We're going to air some grievances here. I don't like any of you
Problems with
people.
the people.